Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NBA matches that is happening on Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. We will be providing our team, total, and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comment section below. Minnesota Timberwolves versus Toronto Raptors. The Timberwolves secured a winning record and clinched a playoff spot last season. They maintained their core players from a team that averaged 115.1 points per game in the previous season. They possess one of the league's top big men in KAT, and their fellow All-Star, Anthony Edwards, has shown consistent improvement in each season he's been in the league. Their proficiency in offensive rebounding provides them with valuable additional scoring opportunities. In contrast, the Raptors underwent significant changes during the offseason. They struggled offensively in the previous season and made minimal additions to boost their scoring potential in the offseason. While their rebounding, led by Siakam, is expected to be solid, they may face a tough challenge in this game. Moreover, scoring in the paint against one of the league's best shot-blocking teams will likely prove difficult, and their high turnover rate could gift the Timberwolves with more scoring opportunities. Anticipate the Raptors to keep the game competitive in the first half, but the Timberwolves' depth will ultimately prove insurmountable. Therefore, it's advisable to favor the Timberwolves to cover the spread. The Timberwolves averaged 115.1 points per game last season and 114.3 points per game on the road. They averaged 112.3 points per game in their last 3 games against the Raptors. The Raptors gave up 111.3 points per game last season, but they won't be as good this year, so expect the Timberwolves to score at least 115 points in this game. The Raptors averaged 112.8 points per game last season and 114.1 points per game at home. They averaged 124.3 points per game in their last 3 games against the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves gave up 116.3 points per game on the road last season and should be better this year, but they won't be able to stop the Raptors from scoring enough points to push the score over the total. The Raptors and Timberwolves played over the total in their last 2 meetings. Next we have New Orleans Pelicans versus Memphis Grizzlies. Despite a dominant performance in the latter part of the previous season, Memphis fell short of their playoff expectations, which likely left a lingering disappointment. The spotlight is understandably on Williamson's return and the impact he will bring. However, it's essential to note that this is a divisional home game for Memphis, and the relative lack of attention they've received despite their impressive performances last season should serve as motivation. The addition of Smart to the backcourt will undoubtedly bolster their team, and his capability to agitate and disrupt opponents in the opposing team's jerseys is notable. Expect the Grizzlies to secure a victory in their first home game. Take Memphis with a -1 point spread. Memphis was one of the fastest teams in the league a season ago, and the Pelicans did tend to play a couple possessions faster on the road. The addition of Williamson should give the Pelicans' offense some more efficiency. Memphis attacked the paint at one of the highest rates in the league last season, and that equates to high percentage shots. Along with that, the Grizzlies were dominant on the offense glass, which again adds to more shot attempts. With the pace there, and the expected uptick in the Pelicans' offensive efficiency, I expect to see this total go over the number as both offense find their groove early. Take over 227.5 points. Next we have Oklahoma City Thunder versus Chicago Bulls. These teams had parallel journeys last year, but when they faced each other, the Oklahoma City team emerged victorious in both games, with an average margin of victory of 9 points. The Thunder exhibited a superior offense with a wider array of scoring options, giving them a distinct advantage. They have now added Holmgren to their roster and continue to boast one of the youngest lineups in the league. In contrast, LaVine is embarking on his 10th season in the NBA, while DeRozan is entering his 15th season. Although they both continue to perform at all-star levels for the most part, there's a noticeable decline from their peak performance. Gilgeous-Alexander elevated his game to a new level last season, and he's poised to lead his team towards similar success. Expect the Thunder to commence the season with a strong start. Consider taking the Thunder with the point spread in their favor. Last season, the 2 meetings saw the over go 2-0 with an average point total of 238 points scored per game. Over their last 10 meetings, the over is 8-2, and at least one team scored 120 or more points in 6 of those meetings. 5 times it was Oklahoma City who eclipsed 120, including both games last season. With Gilgeous-Alexander the focal point of this offense, the Thunder have become one of the quicker offenses in the NBA. Last season they ranked 3rd in the NBA in pace per dunk Santhrees.com, and they seemingly just get younger and more athletic with each new season. Holmgren will not slow this offense in capacity. Chicago ranked 19th in pace. DeRozan and Levine will once again lead the offense, and so long as they get more players involved, they should kick their offense statistics up a notch this season. Expect the horses to be running out of the gate. Take the over. Next we have Sacramento Kings versus Utah Jazz. Facing a challenge in Utah is always a formidable task, but consider selecting Sacramento as slight favorites on the road with odds at -125. The Kings are expected to exhibit improved defensive prowess this season, while Utah retains a roster quite similar to the previous year when the Jazz struggled defensively and ranked among the worst in the NBA. A concern with Utah in the previous season was their shooting performance, and despite the addition of John Collins, who brings valuable qualities, his shooting ability falls short. Additionally, the lack of consistent shooting from Walker Kessler was evident in the past season. Another aspect to consider is that Sacramento is maintaining the same starting lineup as last season, providing them with a level of chemistry that Utah will need to develop with their new additions. Opt for the Kings on the money line. With how the Utah Jazz and Sacramento Kings play defense, take the over in what should be a very high-scoring affair. Sacramento will have instant chemistry with the starting lineup, which should result in some clean looks for shots with passing, with Utah to get better in the paint, which is where the Jazz should score a bulk of their points. Meanwhile, last season, the Kings were 43-45-1 in hitting the over, but Utah was 47-33-2, which was the best record in the NBA. Finally, in the 2 games these two teams played in Utah last year, the games averaged 240 ppg. Take the over. Next we have Dallas Mavericks versus San Antonio Spurs. When examining the adjusted net ratings provided by Dunk Santhrees for the previous season, the Mavericks ranked 21st with a rating of -0.4, while the Spurs occupied the last position with a rating of -9.5. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, both prolific scorers in the league, should have the opportunity to exploit Victor Wembanyama as he adapts to the challenges of the NBA. It's quite possible that the emotions of his inaugural NBA game might overwhelm him, especially given the limited supporting cast within the Spurs roster. The Dallas team needs to demonstrate a strong start to dispel any growing concerns or rumors about the team's performance and Luka Doncic's satisfaction. In this scenario, it appears wise to favor the Dallas Mavericks to secure a road victory and cover the point spread as the more favorable choice. This number opened at 227.5, so jumping 2.5 points is pretty notable. We do not know the status of either Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving, so jumping on the under seems right if one of them is forced to miss this game. Having Wembanyama at the center spot should help the Spurs play better defense, and Dallas coach Jason Kidd has to understand the defensive side of the floor is more important for the team to be successful. All in all, take under 230 points in this game as the better play. Next we have Portland Trail Blazers versus Los Angeles Clippers. The LA Clippers are commencing the season with both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in good health. Over the past 4 seasons, during which both players have been with the team, Los Angeles secured 96 victories out of 142 games when the dynamic duo played together, in contrast to winning only 86 out of 166 games when one or both of them were absent. Beyond Leonard and George, the Clippers have cultivated a robust roster of complementary players, many of whom have been with the team since last season or even earlier. Conversely, Portland is embarking on a season without Damian Lillard, marking the first time since 2012-13 that he won't be part of the team. The Trail Blazers have introduced numerous new faces to their roster and are looking to rookie Scott Henderson, who was the 3rd overall pick, to take the lead. However, Portland's roster lacks experienced depth, and it may require an extended period to establish cohesiveness before being competitive during the upcoming season, if they manage to reach that point at all. The Los Angeles Clippers had a solid defense that last season was 12th in points allowed at 113.1 points per game, and the Clippers were 18th in scoring with an average of 113.6 points per game. Portland will have several new and inexperienced players on the roster and will have a tough time finding continuity early in the season against tough defensive opponents such as the Clippers. Therefore, expect a lowest scoring game from the Trail Blazers, which will result in the total finishing under.